We're playing Red Hot Chili Peppers the rest of the way.
Why can't you just let me have a day where I get to enjoy the radio show?
Don't slander the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
It's fine.
Get out of here
It's
with
just
that.
not the moment.
It's not a
Vibes are
battle.
high,
It's a
morale is
losing
high.
battle.
Dianna Russini is here with us. She's going to take Lucas's side probably. This is one of the most unfortunate situations that has developed over the 3 years that we've had this show, is that nobody's on my side, Dianna. How are you?
Well, I've been to a few Red Hot Chili Pepper concerts, so I'm already walking into this thing on Lucas's side.
No, but come on. That's a terrible song for me to I'm trying to get up. I'm trying to work my way through this final week before this godforsaken NFL draft takes place and we can actually talk about players. And this is what he hits me with. It's sad boy music.
It's a losing battle.
I can't deal
for you.
What is going on this week overall in terms of just this draft hype? For, people who love this, I don't, there's just not as much juice like there usually is in years past. And maybe that's just because it feels like the Super Bowl just happened, with them pushing it a little later. I don't know. There's just something that doesn't feel the same this year. Is it just me?
No. There does seem to be a little bit of lethargy around it, which is kind of crazy given that the quarterbacks are the story this year, especially in our industry. I guess I'm not tired of talking about it. It's just we know what's happening at number one. The only level of interest in the last week is your colleague Schefter saying he really doesn't think that a quarterback's going to go two. But even that wasn't it. Do you think it's the teams? Do you think it's the teams as much as it is the players that are at the top of the draft this year?
Yeah. Look, I do think the story of the draft has now become Houston because of that information. It was, it's Adam's pretty conservative. He's not making bets on the air. He's never done that in all the years I've known the man. Right? So
he was screaming at Dan. He was legitimately upset, it seemed like.
Yeah, well, it's easy to get mad at Dan. He's so annoying. But, so Schefter, put it out there. And look, there's obviously truth to it. And I even talked to Houston this morning. And, they're assuring me that they haven't set the board. They're like, look, we haven't even made our final decision. Is quarterback at play? Yeah. Everything's at play right now. We're literally looking at everything. But there's definitely something to what Adam has been reporting about them perhaps taking a pass this year on that and going defense or perhaps even trying to trade out if that's even a possibility. But we know the team that is trying desperately to get out is Arizona at 3. And that really started to heat up actually after the Schefter-Orlovsky funny situation on NFL Live.
Yeah. Because
what then became obviously is, teams here, well, if Houston's not going quarterback, then we could perhaps get the second best quarterback in the draft. By trading out with the Cardinals. So lots of teams are calling around right now just trying to figure out what Houston is doing because they have full control over so many teams' decisions at this point.
At Dianna ESPN is where you can follow her. Of course, you can catch her on ESPN's coverage of the 2023 NFL Draft. She will be in sunny, scenic Indianapolis, Indiana. State of my youth, state of my birth. Nothing like Indiana in the month of April. I'm certain you're excited.
Oh, yeah, I'm actually I'm packing as we're talking right now, the bikinis, the short skirts, short dresses, because, this time of year, nothing like bright sunshine, 85 degrees in between on my TV. I'll be out there soaking up those rays to the tan olive skin. No, I'm actually excited to get to Indy. I always love the food there.
Mm-hmm.
Logistically, it's actually very easy. But let's just talk football. They're going quarterback. I think that's pretty obvious to everyone that is following all of this. Which quarterback specific, I think from what I can gather, there's 2 that the building really likes. There's one they're really in love with, trying to sort out which one that is. I've heard they've had some really good visits and they're obviously taking into consideration a lot of different opinions because they want to get this right since they haven't been able to get it right since 2019 when Andrew Luck was there.
Yeah. I wonder how, because this is a difficult time of year for, I think, fans in terms of how to discern through all the information that's out there. Some of it credible, some of it not. And honestly, the idea that Twitter just removed everybody's blue check marks before the draft is going to be, it's just asking for some kind of problems to occur over the course of those 3 days. Can't wait to see how that plays out. But like for you, Dianna, this is something that you have a ton of experience in, but it's still got to be difficult for you to suss through all the different kind of information that's out there and try and deliver it in the best possible way. Because ultimately, people are going to hold you and Schefter and Rap Sheet and other NFL reporters around the country who are doing this at a national scale with a higher degree of responsibility on this stuff than they are the clubs, because the clubs can just, sink back into the background.
Yeah, this is really the first situation where I feel like being a woman is the advantage, because women are really good telling when men lie. So this is when I really lean into it.
Triggered.
Yeah, I'm like, you're lying. I've heard the same phrasing before. No, I think, look, it is a challenge this time of year, and obviously, I'm sure you can see it. Adam Schefter and I have an awesome relationship, and we do talk a lot, and we do share information, and a lot of the insiders do, Jeff Darlington as well. And, it is funny sometimes when we hop on a call and you're hearing all different information from the same team. You're like, what? And, everyone does keep their sources to themselves, so you never know who it's coming from. But, you have to try to always gauge why people are sharing the information. Most of the time it's a brokerage, right, where they're calling you to find out what other teams are doing, and maybe they give you a nugget or two. And everyone, from what I can gather, even in free agency, they kind of all do the same thing, which is, I'll tell you all the juice about everybody else. I'm just not going to tell you the juice about me. And even recently with the quarterback market changing a bit here and seeing that maybe there are some teams willing to trade out with Arizona, a lot of that information tends to come from teams that aren't making those moves. That's usually how that goes. So, yeah, it's a really hard time of year. I personally absolutely love the lead up like this, because this is the time of year where GMs, owners, coaches, agents, they actually need the media. They're calling us for info, so it's nice.
Is this Dianna Russini of ESPN is here with us on 104.5 The Zone. This is a busier time of year for you, than the season?
Oh, 1,000%.
Yeah.
It's nonstop, and you don't want to miss a call, and, everyone has a life, right? So, like, even just right before I called you guys, I'm just on the phone with customer service for 45 minutes about one dumb issue, and I had to hang up after waiting that whole time because I had a GM calling in, and I had to click over, and I'm like, I just wasted 45 minutes of my life with Easy Pass for, my driving on the New Jersey Turnpike. So, dumb detail that no one listening cares about, but it's just that time of year where you got to stop everything. Even if you're holding your baby, drop it on the floor and answer the phone, because you don't want to miss it. I've been there many of times where I've missed the call and boop, I see Rap Sheet with a tweet or, someone else.
I think that's the most relatable thing in the world. Dianna Russini of ESPN is here with us on 104.5 The Zone. Speaking of New Jersey, what the hell is going on with the Jets? What's happening? What are they in full panic mode? Because that Joe Douglas clip that was going around of him trying to talk Jets fans down and be like, listen, we're going to get Aaron Rodgers. It's going to be okay. And since then, radio silence from him and that organization externally at any case. What is the holdup here?
Yeah, every Jets fan is in therapy right now. Talk about having to wait and hold out. It was a month and a half ago now that Rodgers told Pat McAfee on his show that his intentions were to play for the New York Jets. So you have to figure that was we thought maybe that was going to be the hard part, was getting Aaron Rodgers to commit to New York. But that's the easy, it seems, because both sides haven't had that many conversations, and we all expected this to be done by now. The fact that we are 6 days out from the draft and Aaron Rodgers is still a Green Bay Packer is certainly wild. Do I think it's going to probably heat up as we get closer here? Yeah, but the Jets are in a position, though, when you actually take a look at this, if they can keep their draft capital for this season and then get Rodgers, they're fine with that. They'll give up the future, because also look at this coaching staff and front office. They have to win I wouldn't call them on the hot seat, but I wouldn't say they're secure either in terms of their job. So if they could get some picks here in this upcoming draft and then eventually get Aaron Rodgers and worry about all the problems later on, just like everyone else in life, just keep pushing the ball down the hill, they're okay with that. It's the Packers that I believe are the ones that really want to get this done because they want those picks, as we know that they're going to want to build around Jordan Love. They're now future starting quarterback.
Well, locally, there's been, at least from the fan base, a rooting interest in Aaron Rodgers not going to the Jets, Dianna, because people think that that Tannehill would still be able to be moved at the last second at this point. The lack of interest in having Ryan Tannehill as the starting quarterback here after the past couple of seasons have gone down is always fascinating for me to watch play out. And I don't know what you've been hearing, but like there has been nothing to the effect of Ryan Tannehill being anything but the Titans starting quarterback in 2023 based on the people that I've talked to, but I can't speak for you.
Yeah, same. Look, Ryan Tannehill being the backup plan to Aaron Rodgers in New York would probably sink the state of New Jersey, just because the hype is so big for Aaron. No knock on Ryan. But look, if there is an opportunity for Tennessee to move Ryan and be able to get some compensation for it, knowing the situation contractually that stands with him, I don't think it would be off the table. Well, I mean, I think it'd be bad business by Rand if he didn't at least talk to the Jets at some point here to say, hey, you're going to need a quarterback and a good one. And we can debate, I'm sure, another day how we would define Ryan right now in his career, but Ryan's solid, man. Like he's good. That's just my opinion. I think he could step right into that Jets roster and they could win. I think the challenges with staying in Tennessee are, he certainly does not have those weapons. He does not have that defense. So it's a much different. I'd be curious if Ryan would love that trade, knowing that what they look like up there or here in New York. So look, I think business is always going to be open when you have a contract like Ryan's at this point. And for Tennessee to not be looking in the quarterback market for this upcoming draft would also be bad business. And they're obviously doing it because they've had visits. They've gone to pro days, right? That tells you it's a pretty good indication that they're doing homework on these quarterbacks, even the top ones. And from what I can gather, I think quarterback is certainly on their board.
Breaking sports news on 104.5 The Zone.
So Ian Rappaport of NFL Network.
Did you just cut off Dianna Russini?
No.
While she's on the radio show?
Specifically waited for her to be done talking. I only cut you off with breaking news.
That was the rudest thing that's ever happened. I was like, did they just get mad at my reporting and my opinion there and just be like, this girl's trash, let's move on? I am never calling it again.
No. Well, at least the next time you do, if we can talk you into it, make sure that you tell me that you don't like Lucas's voice as much. That'll be enough for me. That'll be okay.
All right, what do you got,
What's
Lucas?
the breaking news?
So important.
What have you done?
He's very insecure, Dianna. Ian Rappaport. Sources, NFL has suspended 5 players, including Lions wide receiver Jameson Williams, for violations of the NFL's gambling policy. The Lions' C.J. Moore and Quintez Cephas, plus Commanders' Shaka Toney, are suspended indefinitely for at least 1 year. Jameson Williams and Detroit's Stanley Berryhill will be suspended 6 games. And Adam Schefter followed that up, saying the Lions have released Cephas and safety C.J. Moore.
Do you need to go since there's breaking NFL news? I don't want to hold you hostage if you need to do reporting on this.
No, that's okay. I guess I'll just hang with you guys, even though you don't even want me.
Okay. I mean, that's a big story, though, Jameson Williams.
Oh, yeah. Obviously, the league is not messing around with gambling, and we've seen it over the last 2 seasons. I'm interested to obviously get more on this and find out what they were actually doing. I think that's always the next question of, how were they gambling, what was illegal, but there you go. There's your Friday news drop, guys.
So since we're talking about the draft at this point, and we'll let Dianna go here shortly so she can actually do her job and quit screwing around with us. The 3rd overall pick is something that is of interest here locally, not just because Monty Ossenfort is in Arizona now by way of the Titans front office, But because they have been doing their homework here, Dianna, as you well know, on the quarterbacks at this point. Ryan Tannehill's in an expiring contract situation. To this point, they have not looked at restructures based on the last time I talked to people about this, but that's always still something that's in play. What have you heard about the Titans and the quarterback draft at this point? Because we know that there's the draft, but then there's the quarterback draft and all this.
Well, you have to figure if there's a quarterback that they really like, what better situation do they have than having someone that was already in their building now being a general manager with that number 3 spot? Because you got to figure the relationship's probably great, and they could probably have pretty transparent conversations about that. Not saying that would give the Titans the edge if that's what they want to do, but it certainly does not hurt. I've seen this in the past where you can connect the dots and it all makes sense. Do I think the Titans are going to be willing to go all the way up to 3? Look, again, if they see a guy if there is a quarterback, and I have not heard of one that this building is in love with.
Yeah.
As of right now, there's not one that is knocking everyone's socks off. But I could not have all the information. There could be one out there. And maybe they think this could be worth it. I just think they'd have to give up a lot, and I'm not sure if they're in a position to do that at this point. But look, I was on the show with you a year ago telling you they ain't trading A.J. Brown.
Oh, but Dianna,
trading A.J. Brown.
Everybody
and
was. That's so not on you.
On draft night, you very rarely report news, because especially a scoop like that on draft night. Like as I'm like tweeting it, I'm thinking to myself, this is insane. I was just saying a completely different story 10 hours ago. But things happen. So look, I think we'd be crazy to think that Tennessee's not in the quarterback market. I think that is definitely something that they're talking about, they're discussing. It's just, are they going to be willing to move up to go get one?
She's Dianna Russini. ESPN is where you can catch her. Are you on? Where else are you on television today? I'm sure that you are on television at some point.
ESPN, ESPN2, Twitter with no blue check marks, just everywhere today. It's a good Friday to work.
I'm sorry to have taken you away from actually doing reporting, but we appreciate your time as always. It's always good to catch up. Love
being with you guys. Favorite show in the country. Pains me to say, even though Lucas cuts me off. I will never forget that. Bye, guys.
See ya. Dianna Russini there with us on 104.5 The Zone. Do you feel bad?
No one is safe. No one is safe from the breaking news sounder.
Well, at least you let her finish her point.
Of course I let her finish her point.
So
what are we, barbarians?
I mean,